My name is Elijah Harris. Today I'll be doing my case study number 2, and we're going to be talking about the current environment of college sports. I'm going to be focusing on how legalized sports betting, NIL opportunities, and governance challenges are affecting the integrity of the game. I'll also explain why recent events matter and whether the current system is sustainable long term. All right, so basically what happened. So federal prosecutors charged 26 individuals, including gamblers and intermediaries. Players were recruited and paid intentionally underperformed during games. Bettors then placed wagers against those teams to profit. The scheme involved more than 39 players in at least 17 teams. So this wasn't a player making a bad decision. This was organized basically from the player and the bettor, and the bettors basically are targeting college programs. This shows how the corporation can be coordinated and widespread, not just isolated mistakes. It reveals how vulnerable college athletes can be. For instance, I use this as an example. You have a kid on Ohio State who is a receiver. You have another receiver on Ohio State, which is Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith may be getting paid anywhere between $3 to $4 million. Another guy on the team may not even be making a percentage of that. So that shows and tells you how vulnerable other guys may be. Just because you see college kids are getting paid now, and college athletes, they're able to basically reap the benefits of their performance and their likelihood. Not all them guys are actually getting paid significantly and are still struggling. It shows how gambling markets create incentives to influence performance. It demonstrates that integrity can threaten multiple schools and conferences. The bigger picture is really college sports rely on fairness and trust. When people basically manipulate the system, it threatens the credibility of the entire system. This case reflects a larger problem in modern college athletics. So since 2018, sports betting has expanded across many states, making bettors more accessible than ever. This expansion creates risk because more money flows into betting markets. More betting options exist, like spreads, prop bets, live betting, money line, player props. Gamblers can profit from small performance changes. This matters because an athlete doesn't need to fix a game to affect betting outcomes. Missing anything like a free throw. Say if you play basketball, you miss a free throw, committing extra fouls, or reducing effort can influence spread or prop reps. So say if you have Purdue versus Michigan State, a bettor hits up Michigan State's point guard. Hey, the spread today is maybe negative 3.5. So that has Michigan State winning by more than 3.5 points. So you get late in the game and you say, oh, shoot, we're winning by this amount. We're winning by that amount. Let me start making careless turnovers, careless fouls, shooting careless shots. And that's how you're able to cover your spread. So it's really not that hard. Like how I can understand in picture how athletes would be basically getting these spreads and props. Legal betting didn't create corruption, but it increased the financial incentives and opportunities. So NIL allows athletes to earn money from endorsements, social media, and partnerships. The positive impacts, so NIL does have a lot of positive impacts. Basically, financial support for athletes. A lot of athletes come from troubled backgrounds and really don't come from a lot of money. Ability to profit from their own brand and likelihood, and increase independence. But the problem with that, it comes with new pressures. So financial inequity between star players and lesser known athletes, like I mentioned earlier. Expectations to maintain a public image. So if you're getting paid $1 million a year and these donors are paying you, you have to play like $1 million player. You can't be getting paid $1 million a year and you playing like a bum, basically. Increase attention and contact from strangers online. A lot of players talk about this. This happens often with these player props and these team props. Now that sports betting is more known and worldwide, you have more people doing it. So a lot of players face backlash after games if they have you at getting 10 points, and if you finish at 8 points and the guy just put $100 on you, they're gonna feel some type of way. They're gonna try to get under your skin because they look at it as, hey, you lost me money and you owe me. So a risk factor: athletes at smaller programs or without NIL deals may be more vulnerable to financial incentives. This actually happened. If reading in the document, a lot of the schools were much lesser schools. So like a school like New Orleans or a school like Tulane isn't it as big in college basketball as a school like Michigan State, Duke. So you're going to target those schools where players aren't getting paid a lot of NIL. Players maybe only making $3,000 to $4,000 a month, compared to you go to Duke and these guys are making anywhere from between $100,000 a month to probably $200,000 per month. So you're going to target those guys who really aren't touching the money that they want to touch. So the governance and enforcement challenge. Integrity oversight is divided among multiple groups. The NCAA set rules and investigate violations. The states regulate legal sports betting, and they also determine which bets are allowed. The sport books monitor suspicious activity and betting patterns. Law enforcement prosecutes criminal activity. The problem: rules may differ by state. Enforcement varies, and many actions are taken only after violation occurs. My bad. Excuse me. So the consequences for student athletes. Athletes face growing pressures from bettors harassing them online, outside individuals attempting influence, financial stress, performance expectations. The risks include bribery attempts, mental health strain, loss of eligibility of scholarship, long-term damage to career and reputation. And that happens a lot, man. A lot of these players, they get influenced by the change that they could get in college, and it ends up hurting them in the long run. Like majority of those players that were caught up in the January 15th scandal, they'll never be able to play professional sports just because their name was caught into the scandal. And why would a team want to draft you or have you on their team when they see that you were basically fixing games in college? If you would do it in college, they look at it as, hey, you'll do it again. So integrity is definitely essential in sports. Threats include point shaving, intentional underperformance, manipulation of sports spreads, influence from organized betting networks. This matters because even small manipulations can change betting outcomes and undermine fairness. Also, when fixing games and basically not playing to your full potential, this messes with the public's trust and also your fan base trust. Sports depend on fan belief and fair competition. If integrity is questioned, your fans is definitely going to lose confidence. You're going to get scrutiny from the media, and viewership is also going to decline a lot. Past betting scandals damaged trust in sports leagues and took years to rebuild credibility. Another impact, you'll get impact on college and governing bodies. So institutions face growing challenges. Compliance monitoring costs are increasing. Schools risk reputational damage. Lawsuits and legal exposures may increase. Conferences must regain policies. And basically a solution that I have, I wouldn't say ban sports betting, because just because you have a small fraction of these guys that are fixing games and that are reaching out to players, that doesn't mean that you have to basically punish everybody from sports betting. Because I sports bet myself, I enjoy it. I don't look at it as I'm addicted to it. I make, profitable money, decent money, but sometimes I do lose also. But I honestly don't feel like that guys should, or sports books should basically ban college props in general. I do feel like teams should, or even the NCAA in general should basically talk to players and tell them, hey, if you participate in these activities, the consequences that come behind it. Not only will you be kicked off, but you will also face legal issues. So I do not feel like banning college sport props is going to fix the problem at all, because if that happens, it was a case in November where an NBA player was also doing it. So it's not just college that is happening in the end. One thing that I do believe that they should do is, I feel like they should cover the athletes better, especially from like harassment reports, because a lot of guys are only in college in between the ages of 18 and 22. So you got an 18-year-old getting death threats from a 30-year-old man because he lost $100. Like, that does a lot to a college kid's mind. So I definitely feel like institutions and sports books should basically kind of govern the college players, definitely govern them, and also just have supportive systems for them, like people that they can talk to, and yeah, so my final conclusion is legalized betting and NIL have permanently changed college sports. They definitely have. While they bring benefits, they also include risks that current systems are still adjusting to manage. So my final takeaways are: without stronger safeguards, athletes remain vulnerable, integrity risks will grow, and public trust may decline. To protect the future of college sports, we must protect athletes and the integrity of competition. Thank you, guys.